our government was elected with a really clear mandate to reprioritise government spending.
A One News tally of job cuts shows about 5,000 jobs have been lost across the public and private sectors in the last year.
So that's interesting that 5,000 jobs have been lost and the unemployment number is what, 10,000? Now, I'm assuming that 5,000 jobs, a bunch of them sometimes are jobs that are currently vacant and they're not refilling. But that's still going to be let's say half of them, that's still going to be perhaps a quarter. Let's say 2,500 were actually individuals and 2,500 were jobs not to be filled. That's 25% of the unemployed at the moment. That's not nothing, and that's what I'm saying, that for the national government, this feels like a target for unemployment, whereas under Labor, it would feel more like a byproduct, unemployment, as inflation comes down, because it is one of the byproducts of that happening. I mean, if this government has contributed 15, 20, 25%, even 10% of the number of unemployed people today, then that's a big concern. It's a big concern, especially, and we'll keep saying this, when they could have kept going for the time being as to where they were, rather than giving $3 billion back to landlords, Chewy. They could have easily kept on going if they wanted to, but they don't want to, because it's a target for them, not a byproduct.
There's that money. There's also other money that's been identified, but, they would rather absolutely rip through people's lives and absolutely have a negative effect on how people are going to deal with government departments going forward. Yeah. Because there are, recent news, it's going to take, 2-3 months to get a new passport? I'm sure them slashing public sector workers is going to improve that through, I assume, magic. Yeah. Magic, fairy dust, and fairy bread. Wishy thinking. Yeah. But I mean, the whole way through, like when you're talking about measures of we've got to bring down inflation, that sort of thing. And, last year you had banks going, oh, we reckon 20,000 people need to lose their jobs. And it's like, well, that's a real blunt instrument to do that. That's like, well, we've got three options. The first one is we can sack a whole lot of people. Stop right there. I've heard everything I want to hear. Perfect. Yeah. Let's do that. There are other tools in the box. And again, sort of coming back from a multi-generational challenge like the pandemic response like that, the payoff is we had to make drastic action. We supported you through that to stop it. And there's kind of a hangover to that. It's not like it was never going to be, cool, back to normal. Everything's fine now. Everything's like it was beforehand. Yeah. And that could be the unemployment rate. That could be the rate of inflation. But when we talk about this cost of living crisis, it's only a cost of living crisis for us. Yeah. The businesses are still making the profits. The supermarkets are still making their profits. The banks are still making their profits. They're making money hand over fist, just like they have all the way through. The only people doing it tough is us. And the only people that are paying the price are the people that are going to lose their jobs to make sure that inflation comes down while maintaining those fat P&L statements for these companies.
You talk about the banks making their profits, and it comes up in this conversation about cost of living and people cutting their cloth. I've just rolled over. I'm very, very lucky. I have a very considerably lower mortgage than many people. Certainly if you lived in Auckland or Christchurch or Wellington. But my figures have just rolled over. And I'm paying $150 a week more. Now, some people are going to laugh at that and kind of go, bah, I'm paying $800 a week more. I'm like, yeah, I know, I get it. But, still $650 more a month on a small mortgage is not insignificant. It's not like, oh, sweet as, I had that in change down the back of the couch anyway. So people who are in Auckland or have recently bought houses, and are seeing that interest rate jump when they're refixing, I can't see. Like, honestly, if I was your average house price in Auckland, you'd multiply that by about 4. So yeah, that it could be, if you had $1 million, it could be $600 a week more than what you're already paying.
Yeah. more. There's news recently this week that more people are missing their mortgage payments or reaching out to their banks for payment plans and stuff like that.
Yep.
That's only going to increase.
Yeah.
Like people have been refixing, they might have locked in for 2 or 3 years and now those are coming due. And some of those are big jumps.
Yeah, that was me. I was on about 4%, and it's now I'm actually floating today, and it's 8.5, and I'm about to fix for 6 months, and it's about 7.3. And the reason I'm only fixing for 6 months is it's not going to be higher than that. I mean, there's a 3-year one for 5.99 at the moment. I think that as interest rates come down and the OCR slows down, the rates of the bank will slow down. By the way, this is not financial advice for anybody watching. This is just my thoughts, what I'm doing. So I'm only going to fix for 6 months and then reassess, because I think it will continue to trend down, unfortunately, as unemployment continues to trend up. And that's a part of this equation around inflation as well.